first, I'd like to thank you for making time for this interview. And I perfectly know who you are, but could you just say a few words about yourself for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So my name is James. I am British, and I spent, I suppose, the vast majority of my life living in the UK until I graduated from school. In fact, all of my life, and now I work as a full-time freelance translator and language consultant, and I'm also location independent.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm in the UK, but until 2 weeks ago, I was living in South America.
Okay. So I've got a bunch of questions related to learning foreign languages, and the first one is: what's the most common mistake people learn when they start learning a foreign language?
They don't listen. They don't listen, and this doesn't. I don't mean specifically that you should always do exactly what the teacher says. Far from it. But the most important thing is to be aware of what you're saying yourself, and be aware of what other people are saying around you, and be able to compare the differences. Because you can hear lots of people who have been learning a language for many, many years, and they still have a strong accent. And this means that you can still hear bad pronunciation, poor grammar, poor use of vocabulary. They don't listen to and copy the people that they speak to.
Okay, fine. And since you've got a great deal of experience learning many foreign languages, is it more effective to learn one language after another, or is it better to learn two languages at the same time?
I would say it depends a lot on the stage that you're at in your language learning adventures. So if you're starting at the very beginning, you have a lot more to learn than just the language itself. So for lots of people, you'll have to start to deal with the fact that your mouth moves in different ways. When you learn a language, you'll have to deal with the fact that the structure of the language is different, and you'll also have to learn a huge amount of new vocabulary. So in the beginning, I would say focusing on one language is good. But over time, when you are already familiar, I suppose, with what I call the meta learning, so you know that how grammar works, you know that it's different, you know that there's new vocabulary, then it's possible to learn, I'd say, maximum 2 or 3 at the same time.
Okay, I see. And I think it's natural that if a person does not speak a foreign language for a long time, most of what he has learned, or all of what he has learned, just fades away. So how do you deal with this problem?
Well, it definitely is a problem, and I wouldn't say that it necessarily fades away completely, because it's always there. It's always there, and it just needs to come out. To do this, the best thing is to just keep practicing, because it happens to people who are experienced language learners who feel very confident in what they're doing, and it also happens to people that are just learning for the first time. Basically, you are worried about opening your mouth because you worry that what you say is not going to make sense, or the other people are going to judge you negatively. You find that when you get onto the second sentence, you already start to feel a lot better. So the first step really is the biggest one.
Okay.
And in order to keep, in answer to your question, in order to keep that kind of fluency up, it's good to be able to speak to people on a regular basis. There's different ways to do it. Personally, one of my favorite ways to do it is on italki. So I will have a whole variety of different tutors that I will pay for italki classes. And in the beginning, if I haven't spoken a language for a long time, great example, I haven't really spoken much Italian for the past 2 years. So at the moment, I'm having Italian conversation classes on a daily basis. And all I do is just chat to the tutor, and she chats to me, and it all comes back. If you're somewhere where you know lots of people and where you know lots of foreigners especially, then it's very good to organize meetups. So couch surfing, meetup.com, it's a great way to get people together.
Okay.
Even if you don't want to necessarily meet up with a group of people, what I do is I go on the couch surfing and I will write to someone and say, hello, I noticed that you are, for example, in the case of Italian, I noticed that you are Italian and that you are in my city. I want to practice Italian. Would you be able to meet up with me? I will buy you a coffee or a drink or whatever. So that's your exchange. It doesn't necessarily have to be a language exchange.
So basically putting language into practice is the best way to keep this at the level you want. Yeah.
Yes, and I would say it's important to be able to read and write, but I suppose writing today is relative anyway because we spend lots of time typing. But reading is good to a point. The best kind of practice is interacting with human beings.
Okay.
So speaking and listening as well, and that will keep it much fresher than reading would.